Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Mr. Grant's little art studio here. I have a lesson today called 1 Point Perspective that, if you track with me, is going to completely change the way you do artwork from here on out. So boys and girls, the way I start this lesson in class is that I talk about an age in American history called the Gilded Age. Gilded, do you guys know what that means? Gilded means covered in gold. You guys have seen me give these little coins out as a token of appreciation in class. But if you look at it, it looks to a young child in kindergarten or first grade like it's worth a lot of money. But if I bend it, I bet you I can snap it because it's not made of gold. Maybe not. But if you look underneath, it's just made of cheap plastic. That's what gilded means. Gilded means just covered on the surface with gold, but underneath it's something, usually hiding something else. This 1 point perspective picture of the Biltmore Estate that we all know is a perfect example of the beauty of a building made during that time period. But along with that, what we don't see are these images of the poverty, the pollution, the unfair wages that happened during this time period. So I want you to draw a 1 point perspective city today as a vision of how the world could be better in the future during your generation. So what you need for 1 point perspective cities is you're going to need a ruler and a pencil and an eraser, a good eraser and a piece of paper. That's all you need. If a line goes straight up and down, it's called vertical. This line cannot look like this. This is not a perfectly vertical line. You can see that. That's diagonal. This is diagonal. These are the ways I'm explaining to you that this is where students go wrong. And this is the number one problem I have when teaching this lesson, is that they don't understand what vertical means and horizontal. Horizontal means completely flat, left to right. As if I were going to put a marble on here, and a marble, if it was not perfectly flat, would roll off if the ruler was diagonaling this way, right? And a marble would roll off if the ruler was diagonaling this way. So the only way a marble would not roll off of a surface is if it was perfectly flat. That would be called horizontal. I do have a trick to teach you on how can you tell if your line is perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal. And the way I teach people this is by comparing their line to the very edge of the paper. The edge of the paper is always going to be perfectly straight up and down. If these look like train tracks, then it's perfect. If those two lines will never crisscross, it's a perfectly vertical line. If you look here at the bottom edge of your paper, and you compare this line to the bottom edge, you know that it's horizontal. If you can remember those things, this will be very, very easy for you, this lesson. What I want you to do on your paper is to draw a rectangle or square on this side or this side of your paper. Once you have drawn your rectangle, I want to double check and make sure that that's right. So remember what we said. I want to check to see that this side is vertical. Don't draw with green on there, I just wanted to show you. This side should be going straight up and down, and so should this one. They should not be touching the edge of my paper here. They should not be touching the edge of my paper like this. A lot of students start their artwork like this to try to save time. That will mess you up later. The next thing we want to do is create the horizon line. The horizon line is a line that goes all the way across our paper like this. That's called the horizon line. After you do your horizon line, you want to do a dot in the middle. That dot is called the vanishing point. It's because that's where everything vanishes and disappears to. So the last step here is I'm going to look at my 3 closest corners, and I want to connect my 3 closest corners of my rectangle here to the vanishing point. I want to connect my 3 closest corners with my ruler, touching the ruler to the point of the rectangle and the vanishing point. There's 1. There's 2. Am I done? Does that look good? Not yet. Should I connect this one or this one? What do you think? For my 3rd corner. This will go through the whole shape. I don't think I should do that one. I'm going to do the closest corner. Just like this. And that looks very strange, I'm sure, to you if you're learning a new way to draw 3-dimensional and you've never drawn 3-dimensional before. Okay, you're almost done. Now comes the hardest part of the project, the last step to end off the shape. A lot of students will draw their vertical line. They will draw their horizontal lines. And then to end off the back of their building, which is what we're making, they draw a diagonal line. Does that look right to you guys? So if that's what you think you should do, or that's your natural reaction, please stop and follow along. If you take a look, and I take my ruler, and I put it right on this green line that I drew, what's that called again? Vertical line. And then I take my ruler and I slide it over. Wherever I want to slide it to, it doesn't matter. I'm going to slide it over, and I'm not going to bend it this way. See my ruler? Now it's bent, it's not vertical like this one is. So I'm going to make sure that my ruler, tell me when it's vertical again. Ready? Ah, is that right? What about there? Now I'm going to draw another vertical line from between this point and this point. See that? Here we go. Now the last step is also, these last 2 lines are the hardest. The next thing I'm going to do is draw my horizontal line. Most people do this, and they draw a vertical line to end it off, and they don't understand later why it doesn't work or it doesn't look right. So my last step here is to take my ruler and put it on that red line again, and make sure I have a perfectly horizontal ruler, and I just slide it up without turning it like this. If I turn my ruler and it does not match the same angle as this, if these 2 rulers are not parallel, another math word, it's not correct. So look at my 2 rulers. They're parallel, right? Okay, let's try to draw a line there from that corner over to this line. And there you go. If you can do that and draw a horizontal line in the front and a horizontal line in the back, a vertical line in the front and a vertical line in the back, you can draw anything in 1-point perspective, just about. You can go ahead and add a few more of those with your ruler. Again, always draw with your ruler for this project because it is so mathematical and technical. And as the buildings get smaller away, you can make them smaller. Okay, that may be all you get a chance to do today. If that's it, then that's great. But if you want to draw something on the front of the building, you can freehand draw it, like a door or a window, just to save you time. I know you could do better with your ruler if you have time at home. Depending on if you draw your doors big, then your building is going to look very small. If you draw your doors very small, then your building is going to look very big. So it's kind of up to you how you design these. I would recommend doing bubble letters on these front building here. Don't draw anything on the sides yet because that has to be drawn in 1-point perspective. Once you start drawing a 1-point perspective, everything needs to be 1-point perspective in your drawing. So the next step, the last thing I might do, the last couple things, is draw 2 lines forward from the vanishing point, again, the same vanishing point, not a new one, to the front edge of the paper. There's 1, I'm going to come this way and draw another one. What do you guys think that is? That's going to be my road. So I don't want to just draw squares in the middle of the road because that wouldn't be in 1 point perspective. I have to make things continue to get smaller as they get farther away, which is what 1 point perspective is doing. Can you see how it's getting and shrinking and getting smaller so that it looks accurate to real life? Okay, so the next thing I might do is draw another rectangle over on this side. And this time, if we get this far, my building is going to be taller than this horizon line. Did you know that the horizon line is the same as your eye level? So if you look out the window at the trees or mountains out your window, and you notice that when you duck down, what happens at the horizon line when you're looking out the window? When you duck down and go back up, guess what? It moves because your eyeballs create the horizon line. So the horizon line is always going to be eye level. It's always going to be where your eyes are. Your eyes will always be that same level as the horizon line. So the reason I tell you that is if you want to draw a building that's taller than the vanishing point, guess what? It's above your eye level. You're not going to draw lines going up again just like you did over here. You have to connect this one corner here. It's actually easier. You connect that top corner there to the vanishing point, and you connect the bottom corner to the vanishing point. Or, I'm sorry, the top corner to, yeah, that's right, top corner to the vanishing point and bottom corner to the vanishing point. And then that's it. You can't draw the top of the building because it's above your eyes. It's above your eye level. You understand that? Okay, and then we're going to take this, and if this end of this side of the building is a green vertical line, right? Then I'm going to do the same thing over here and move the ruler over without turning it this way and not without turning it that way, and I'm going to end off my buildings like this and make as many as I want. Now that's the beginning of 1 point perspective. There's so many more things I could teach you, like drawing a building on top of a building, or drawing a tunnel underground, or drawing a sidewalk, drawing people and characters in 1 point perspective. Just remember, as things get farther away, they get smaller. And there's 3 types of lines in an artwork. Horizontal lines, vertical lines, and everything else points to the vanishing point. I call them orthogonal lines, but or directional lines. But those are the only 3 types of lines in in a 1 point perspective artwork: is vertical, horizontal, and lines that point to here. And that's it. If you do that, I think you'll do a great job, and I can help you out when I see you in class. All right. Oh, and then you guys can, if you want to finish this off, I recommend sharpening it first. Okay, and then coloring it with whatever coloring utensil you have at home. Looking forward to seeing what you all come up with for your new vision for a new city in the future that your generation will create to make the world a better place. Thanks for watching, guys.